you start analyzing the odds of someone making it to the majors, the numbers are just mind-boggling. Especially a player joining a team that was reflective of his personality and is never so true as in the case of Jeff Grotewald, former SBVC and Philadelphia Philly. And Jeff, I got to ask you about the Philadelphia fans. I mean, you played in Philly. Just go at it here. Tell us a little bit about the fans out there.
Hey, Michael, thanks for having me. I sure appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Hey, they're definitely there before the game is there, and they're there after the game. A lot different than the West Coast, where they, come late and leave early, brother. They bleed Philly back there, and thank goodness, for our season, because we weren't that good. And the Eagles were in first place that year, so they kind of took a little heat off us towards the end.
Are they as crazy as people make them out to be? I mean, are they as wild as the persona that they people think about them?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. They love their sports like there's nothing else. I really lucked out because the group of dirtbags I was with, the dirtbags weren't in Boston when they won the World Series. The dirtbags were in the 92 and 93 Phillies when I were there. And the fans back there loved that group of guys. And even though we went from, last to first, when we were in last place, they loved us. We got in 4 or 5 fights that year, and we always competed. We were a little short on pitching, but if you give what you got in Philly, they'll do anything for you.
Tell us a little bit about that group that you played with. I mean, I believe Jim Fregosi was the manager at the time, or?
Yeah, I was very, very blessed. Jim Fregosi was my minor league instructor, and then when he got called up, I think he was very instrumental in my chance to get to the big leagues when the time came. We had some real good guys. We had Larry Boa was our bench coach.
Oh, that's a feisty guy.
Oh, he's a fighter too. And we had John Kruk, Mitch Williams. I still can't believe Mitch is on television.
Neither can I.
Now, Krucky, I can. He was always a lot of fun, and he's a little more intellect than he leads on. We had Darren Dalton, who was the leader, and Lenny Dykstra, and my personal best friend was Dave Hollins. We had some really, really great guys.
I always say about Lenny Dykstra, anybody that has a nickname like Nails, that speaks volumes, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great, great group of guys, I'll tell you.
Well, you're a Rim of the World graduate. You played here at Valley College, hard worker. I believe you were at Point Loma, and then you wind up get into the minors. I mean, tell me, for the kids who are out there watching the call, what is it like that day as a baseball player when you get that phone call telling you that you're headed to the major leagues pack up?
Well, it's not really, it's definitely out of body. We had worked so hard. I was in the minor leagues for 4 years before I got that call. And we're so conditioned to go into the park every day, and I can remember very vividly. I'll give you a quick story. It was a Sunday, and my wife dropped me off at the park early. I had gotten hit on my elbow, so I had to do some treatment on it to get the swelling down. And my wife dropped me off at the ballpark and went shopping with my 2 kids. And so I was at the park about a half an hour, and Lee Ilya called me in and said, Dell Swain, who's now the manager of the Cubs, got hurt. You need to be in Philadelphia in 3 hours. So I got on the phone, and the first call I made was to my wife. And you get so accustomed to being in one place. I called Teresa, and I said, honey, we got the call. We got to go to Philly. And my wife had just gotten back from the grocery store, and she looks at me, or she answers me the phone call, and she says, honey, we can't go. I got a refrigerator full of food. Yeah, refrigerator full of food.
What were your strengths as a player? Why do you think Philly liked you so much? I mean, because you fit right in. I said at the beginning of the show, you're a tough guy. I mean, you play the game very hard. You play a position which catching, which you always played it with a lot of passion. You were a strong kid. I mean, was that something they were looking for in you?
Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. But, you learn that in the minor leagues, and I think every organization is a little bit different. The Phillies were very, very, blue-collar, hard-working, and it was a perfect fit for me, and I was just very, very blessed to get the opportunity, to be honest with you. Very fortunate. But one of the things that I always tell everybody, these kids especially, is you can't control what happens around you, but you can control how you prepare every day to be the best in the best position to succeed that day, no matter if it's learning pitchers, running the bases, whatever it could possibly be, always be in position to succeed.
What were the people that you met that helped you along the way? We talked a little bit about a common friend of ours, Tim Steele. Tell us a little bit about his influence on you.
Oh, Tim was wonderful. Tim came to our small school up at Rim of the World, and he coached his first year with us up at Rim, and he's third on the all-time hitting list at USC. And when you're able to have somebody influence you, and you happen to also be a left-handed hitting catcher, left-handed hitting first baseman, which I was left-handed hitting, it just brought a lot of influence. And you learn so much from that.
Terrific human being, even better than a player. You are the few people. You're probably the only person. Correct me if I'm wrong. That played for both Steve Smith and Stan Sanchez. Can you contrast their styles?
Yeah, absolutely. I love them both. They were both tremendous coaches for us. Smitty was, I'm going to run you into shape, and we're going to physically beat them up, and which fit me okay too. But Stan, Stan was enthusiastic and brought a lot of energy to the stadium or to the park. And both styles worked for Valley. We won titles each year.
What were when you're up in the bigs? What were some of the celebrities that you met? What are some of the highlights? I know you're a big Springsteen fan, and can you share with us that experience?
Yeah, that was a real blessing back in Philly. I got turned on to Bruce back in '79, and when I made it to the Phillies in '92, he was touring, and he was next door to Spectrum. And there was a couple of Springsteen guys that we went back in before the game, and he was in his sound check, and I asked Bruce, I said, "Hey Bruce, man, could I try your Fender on?" And it's the same as Fender guitar, and he said, "Absolutely, but only if you give me an autographed bat." He was a real big baseball fan,
really?
And fun stuff like that. I was very, very blessed to get a chance to do stuff like that. I got a great picture in my office of me and Bruce on stage with a Fender. It's really cool.
Oh, that's special. Jeff, your experience at Valley College, how did that affect or impact your career overall coming here to Valley?
It was wonderful. Just like it is today, it's a fantastic athletic program. When I first got recruited by Steve, junior college baseball was the way to go, just like it would be Division I or Division II. As many kids got drafted back then out of junior college, but Steve gave us a great curriculum that prepared me for the next level to go to a Division I school. And academia was pushed as much as the sports was, and that was a great thing. And anybody who's out there, especially kids that want to keep going, let me tell you, man, academics is right up there. You gotta hit the books.
What's Jeff Grotewald doing now? What's the president of Jeff Grotewald? What are the things that you're doing right now? What does the future look like for you? What are the things you'd like to do?
Well, I'm very blessed. I got my great wife who attended Valley with me in San Diego, and we've been married now 30 years. I got 3 beautiful kids. Wow. And I've got some design centers which feature flooring and things like that in a construction company. So I have my hands full, and life is very, very good. I appreciate everything that we have, and my time with you especially, and that group down there is forever in my heart, brother.
Oh, special. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff, what the kids as you see these kids coming up, they want to make it to the bigs. They have these great visions of grandeur. What is the one advice you can give them as a former major league player? And by the way, I cannot let you go without telling us the fact that you owned a record for a while, which you just talked about. Could you share that record with us?
Well, I think the stars were lined up just right one day in San Francisco. I hit my first big league home run off of Bud Black, and the next night Mike Jackson, and then the third day in a row off of John Burkett. And I didn't know it at the time, but the Hall of Fame called for my bat. It was 3 pitching home runs in 3 days. I don't know why it happened. I only hit 4 home runs in my life in the big leagues.
And you hit 3 in a row.
Yeah,
in 3 days.
I was very, very blessed, let me tell you.
So your bat is at the Hall of Fame, am I correct?
That is correct.
Wow.
Yes, that is correct.
That's quite a legacy there. What do you tell young kids coming up right now? We're up against the clock here. We just got to, if you can give us a little bit of advice for young baseball players coming up.
Absolutely. I enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. I have one thing to say is They've got all these travel balls, and these kids are doing this thing 12 months a year. Hey, if you want to go play football, you want to play soccer, you want to go do something else, go do it, man. Great athletes are going to succeed. You don't got to play that dumb baseball, man. Have some fun at this. Don't get burned out on it, and swing it hard, because if you hit it, you got a chance, brother.
Well, Jeff, I really appreciate your time here and streaming with us. You know, I believe this is the first interview. You're kind of like the Howard Hughes of celebrities in the area. When trying to get you to do an interview, you know, I'm glad you finally were gracious enough to give us some of your time. By the way, I really like your stairs right there, man. That really looks good.
Thanks, Michael. My wife's in charge of all the decorating, brother.
Well, I really appreciate your time, and thank you for being with us, and we'll see you down the road, okay, brother?
Michael, I love you, brother, and it's just always great to connect with you, man. You're my favorite.
Thank you, Jeff. Very kind of you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Grotewald, Valley and Philly legend and a true mountain man in every way. See you at the ballpark and see you at the games. This is Mike Sola. So long.